The newest Blue Jay, Justin Turner, had a lot of good things to say about joining his new team. He's very excited for his next chapter, although he is sad to see his former Red Sox teammates go. He's very excited to be in Toronto, and he's poised for a huge season. So we'll break that down and much more in this episode of Jay's Digest. What's up, Jays fans? I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, alongside host Nick Gosse. Now, the more days that go by, the more excited I am about this Justin Turner signing. And I know his best days are behind him, and he has had some very good seasons, and he probably won't get back to those totals this year, but he's still a very valuable player, and he still would have had some of the best numbers on the Blue Jays team last year if he were on the team. So he's poised for a big season. I think he's going to have a massive impact on this lineup. And he is a guy with championship DNA, Nick. You could say whatever you want about the COVID-shortened season and winning that championship with the Dodgers, but he has a ring on his finger, as does George Springer. So having those guys in your lineup and just having those vet presences, it helps out the younger guys and definitely helps out your ball club when you're looking to win a World Series.
Yeah, he's been a winner his entire career, been around teams that have that winning mentality. Before we get into it, a quick reminder to hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 12,000. We're very close. 70% of you are watching aren't subscribed. Scroll down if you aren't already and hit that. Let's get into the first topic. You mentioned it. Turner speaks out on joining the Jays, and he actually had a lot more to say than some free agents had to say, like Kevin Kiermaier and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. He had a long Zoom meeting and a lot of stuff to say. Let's just get right into it. They're going to be in varying order here, but basically, this is kind of the first thing he said. He joins the Blue Jays with 15 years, like you mentioned, Peter, of MLB experience, and he's looking to make an impact with his new teammates. He's looking forward to getting over there and hopefully having an impact on some of the younger guys and maybe help them take the next step. And he also went on to say that Toronto is one of the teams at the top of the list. He had talks with the clubs back near Christmas, called the Jays a great fit, hopes to have an impact on the young guys to help take them to the next step, which I guess the young guys in this case would be Vladdy, would be Bo, players like that. And even Manoah and all the young guys that are maybe going to be coming up this season are Elvis and Ricky. He is 39 years old. He's been around for a very long time, won a World Series like you mentioned 3 years back. This is, he seems very happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm very happy that he's on the team. And like I said, I just keep getting more excited about the prospects of him hitting in that middle of the lineup. And I think he's going to have a great season. And of course, he's brought in here for his veteran presence and to kind of monitor the young guys and help them out, let them know how to be professional hitters like he's been his entire career. But he's still got some juice left in the tank. And it's not some farewell tour for Justin Turner. I really think he's going to have a very good season. His RBI totals were great last year, a career high for him with 96, I believe. And when the games got toughest, when the situations got the toughest, that's when Justin Turner rose to the occasion. He had an OPS nearing 900 in those high leverage situations, and that's taken into account with runners in scoring position, in late game situations, in important ball games. He stepped it up when it mattered most, and if it weren't for him, the Red Sox would have been even further away in those standings. So he won them a few games that maybe they shouldn't have won. And even though he was 38 years old last season, he did not show it one bit. He looked like the Justin Turner of old, maybe minus a little bit of the power, but I expect him to have another big season in Toronto, and he's going to help out that lineup so much. And another underrated thing about him, Nick, he doesn't strike out. I know Brandon Belt was great for the Blue Jays last year, and he was exactly what they needed, a lefty with power that gets on base. And he did whatever he could to help that Blue Jays team out, but it just wasn't enough. He struck out too many times in clutch situations, and I expect Justin Turner to have a much different approach this year and really take this Blue Jays team over the hump in terms of offense.
Yeah, Brandon Belt was first percentile in strikeout rate, which is the worst in baseball, and then Justin Turner is now 77th percentile, which is good. And let's go through some of the other comments here. He basically said, and kind of acknowledged Bo Bichette. He said, having watched Bo Bichette from the other side of the field, Turner's impressed in what he sees. He has a lot of different clubs in his bag. Hitting is in his DNA, obviously. And at the end of the day, Justin Turner wants to win. He's 39 years old. I'm sure he wants to win. Obviously, get his bag, making sure he gets his money. But winning is very important to him. So he must think that the Blue Jays have a good chance of at least winning some amount of games. And when you're looking at the actual potential of where he's going to play, we kind of knew this before, but he says he met with the GM, Ross Atkins, and John Schneider, the manager, via Zoom. And he says he's comfortable anywhere, first base, third base, could even play some second base. Obviously, DH is the main one. And he also goes on to say, kind of what I just mentioned there, if you want to win a World Series, they're going to have to swallow some pride and do whatever it takes, whether that's a good role or not. I promise you won't care about it when you're holding the trophy. So again, he is all about winning. I think winning is by far the the biggest priority for Justin Turner, especially now that he's joining the team. And I think the Blue Jays provide him a good chance alongside some big role going for him. He's going to have a huge role with this team. He's going to play every day or most days. He is 39 years old, but there's a lot of spots open for him, whether it's DH first base, on Vladdy's rest days, third base. I wouldn't be surprised to see him play some second base on days against left-handed hitters or pitchers. Who knows?
This is a tricky one for me, Nick, because you want him playing DH every day. You want to keep him in that lineup. You want to keep that bat. You don't want him to get hurt. And when you are 39 years old, doesn't matter how great of shape you're in, doesn't matter how many years you've been in the big leagues, how well you know your body. Sometimes it's just inevitable that you're going to get hurt. And he had a couple of stints last year. He missed a few games last season. And if he wants to play every day, he's probably going to have to be the DH. And I know MLB.com came out with their top 10 third baseman of 2024, and Justin Turner was 10th somehow, even though he only played 7 games at third base last year for the Red Sox. I don't really see him playing much infield. Yeah, of course, when Vladdy needs a day off and he needs to DH one day, maybe he'll play some first base. But apart from that, I don't know if I want him at third base. Obviously, it would fill a sizable hole that the Blue Jays have because right now their third baseman is Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. But do we really want a 39-year-old Justin Turner risking injury, playing third base every day, diving at the hot corner? I'm not so sure about that. I'd rather have him in the lineup every day and be the DH as opposed to him playing 20 games at third base and then being sidelined for a while.
Yeah, his health is going to be the most important thing as well because, again, we keep saying it, 39 years old. He's not getting any younger. So let us know what your thoughts are on that. Now, Peter, one quick thing before we do wrap up. There's a little bit of free agency update from Shai Davidi yesterday. And within his article, he basically discussed about the move, how it could have an impact going forward for the free agency. And he dropped this little tidbit here. He said, "Barry, an unexpected opportunity. This will be the Blue Jays, or seemingly be the Blue Jays' last major ad of the winter," which would bring the club's lots into the mix there. But do you have any thoughts on this? Again, Shai Davidi and Van Exel the whole time have kind of been on the more pessimistic side of whether they're going to get a big name player, but it seems like very unexpected opportunity. And who knows if he was writing this before or after the Corbin Burns trade, because you mentioned they need to make a move, but it seems like the Justin Turner signing might end up being the last big move, though. I'm not going to put that, we don't know for sure, but maybe, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on this? It's an interesting one from Shai Davidi, but they've been interesting this offseason, to say the least.
Well, if the Blue Jays are okay with finishing third in the AL East and sneaking into the playoffs again, then yeah, sure. I guess that'll be the last move that they make, and they're just going to hope for some bounce backs and hope for everyone to play up to their abilities, which I think is possible. I believe Vladdy can have a big season. I believe Manoah can have a great bounce back year. Same thing with Alejandro Kirk, George Springer as well. And so many guys underperformed last year, and they still managed to win 89 games and make the playoffs. So that's the silver lining, I guess, you can take out of it. But will the pitching staff replicate their success? Will they be able to stay as healthy as they were in 2023? That's a big question mark heading into the season as well. So, yeah, I would expect for them to not make another move. It wouldn't shock me. But at the same time, you're looking at every other AL East team getting better, at least the ones that you're chasing, and the Yankees and the Orioles, and you're kind of standing pat. You're not really doing much to address those concerns. So I'd like to see another move. I'd like to see them add another bat because I believe they need it. But if not, we're looking at probably a third-place finish here, and maybe the same old story once September and October roll around, that an early playoff exit, another collapse, another year of failed expectations, and then where do we go from there? So I think the Blue Jays need to do something, and I don't know what's available for them out there to push themselves or propel themselves over the Orioles or the Yankees, but it's going to be interesting to follow.
Yeah, I think they hopefully will go against this report and go out and get one of the bigger names that are left, or maybe some sort of minor trade to get another hitter. Who knows? But that'll wrap it up. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on everything we covered today. If you want to check out our video from yesterday, click on your screen now. See you tomorrow.